There's no shame in how you make me feel. It feels so unreal. With you, I know it's not a game. Your love is indescribable. You've been there for me in my time of need, and you've never let me go. Even when I was afraid to give you my heart, you said, trust my love will never depart. Yes, you got me convinced. I didn't think this could exist. No matter sun or rain, you've been by my side. And if you hide for love like I love, don't wanna know what I know when you're by my side. You and I can now get enough. And this is beautiful. Welcome to the Piper Carter podcast. You are listening to Piper Carter, and I have a very special guest today that we played her music a couple of months ago. Her name is Monique Ella Rose, and she has come to be here with us today in the studio at Detroit is Different. And we're so very, 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 very excited. She's a vocalist, and her voice is amazing. Her music is amazing. And that was her song that we were just listening to. So I want you to, while you're listening to this podcast, I want you to go everywhere and look up Can't Get Enough, A Love Odyssey. And she has a new project coming out. She has a new show, but we're going to let her tell you all about that. So without further ado, Monique Ella Rose, welcome to Piper Carter Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative. This is really cool, this setup. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. And also in the building, we have with her one of Detroit's legendary arrangers, musicians. He's a cool cat. He'd probably tell you he's a cool cat too. But a wonderful artist, producer. You probably know a lot of his work, but he's the reason that we know about Miss Monique Ella Rose. So welcome, Pirahnahead, to the building.
What up, though, sis?
Yay! I can't believe you're here. You know, I'm gonna have to start doing sound effects. Everyone does sound effects, but except our show. And then definitely I want to welcome back to Piper Carter Podcast, my illustrious co-host that has been going for a while, and I've missed you so much.
Hi, Piper Carter.
The world's best millennial. Welcome, Brittany March. What's up?
Hi, Pipey.
So let's just get started with you real quick. What's been up? You went to where did you go? Tell us about where you went and what you did.
Are you talking about when I went to the Pizza Expo?
Yeah, because we haven't heard any of this.
I think I talked about it a little bit for a second.
Just a pinch, but refresh us.
It was cool. Like it was in, you know how like you go to Vegas and they have like the conventions, and so this was like a pizza convention for like 3 or 4 days. All the suppliers were there.
Heaven.
It was heaven. It honestly was. I actually didn't think it was gonna be, but it was a lot of vegan products there, like tons and tons of vegan products. So it was like a really cool 3 days. Took my mom, took my friend who's also works in the pizzeria, so he could learn too. Took a lot of classes, ate a lot of pizza, met a lot of people, had a lot of good food, went to the Hoover Dam, spent time with my mom, blah, blah, blah. Back at it. So
okay.
Good to be back. This is about to be a really, really cool podcast.
It is, right?
Right.
And you listen to the music, yeah?
Of course I did.
Okay. You
and
know, you always gotta...
shout out to Bandcamp. Now I'm just like fanning.
Love Bandcamp.
Like adore Bandcamp and like adore the fact that like she writes her own music. right? So she
Yeah.
gets to like really, 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 I think, embrace Bandcamp from like the fullest perspective. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to
Yes.
talk to you today about
Yes.
real music, right, Pipe?
Yeah, real music.
Yep.
And so, speaking of real music, let's move over to you because you are a wonderful vocalist.
Thank you.
I played your music for um, some of the folks here, and they were like, "Who is that? Where can I get that?" So, yeah. So, thank you first of all for making great music.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
tell us. Let's just start with your show
Mhm.
and let folks know about your upcoming concert.
Oh, okay. So Saturday, May 14th, I'll be at the Cube, Detroit, of course, 8 p.m. And it's basically my world premiere. I'm going to be
Oh,
sharing
wow.
songs from a new album,
Nice.
Cosmic Dreamer. And so I'm really excited to share it. You know, for people that have already had a chance to listen to my first project, Such as Life, this is more of an introduction versus the first project, Such as Life, was more just working through overcoming triumph, love, such as life, right?
Mm.
Things can be up and down and all around. And this is more coming into myself and kind of stepping out of the box, but more so just sharing my heart, sharing my
Nice.
heart.
Well,
So
thank you for
I'm
sharing your
excited
heart.
about
I
it.
know, right?
It's so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So, Pirahnahead, tell us about you. Now you done production on this project.
Mhm.
Can you talk about the production?
Well, when I first heard her, it was one of those earth shattering moments. You know what I mean? It's like, it was like when you first heard Donny Hathaway or something. You get those chills in the back. It's like, what kind of voice is this, right? And I asked her what some of her favorite musics were. You know what I mean? What kind of stuff it was that she did, so I could just kind of grab a framework of, like what, if I'm producing someone, I want them to enjoy whatever the product is, and also be in the vein or in the area where they feel good. And she came, texting me back with like a playlist full of Idris Muhammad and Weldon Irvine and
Okay.
and
Good stuff.
Charles Erland.
Okay. And
Like
that
the
is that when
stuff.
you fell in love? Is that why you fell in love?
Well, I mean, that was it was kind of that.
Mhm.
That was mostly just because when you got a rock, it's there. And especially
Mhm.
at that time in my life, at that period, you know what I mean. It was what up though,
Hey.
you know what I mean. But that being aside from the business aspect, I wanted to create something that really headed toward what it was in the 70s,
Mhm.
like the old Roberta Flack's and
Mhm. Musicality.
the
Yeah.
musicality, the
Yeah.
soulfulness, and it
Yeah.
was
The best music was in the 70s. I mean, just
The best. Don't I always say
Yeah.
that?
You do.
Well,
Yeah, you always say that.
the best music.
But that that's
But-
kind of that process. So you know what I mean. We had
Mhm.
live. It was specifically that song and others, which I'll probably give you an ear into later. We had Ron Otis on drums, Takashi Io on bass, Tony Gordon on keys. Had a few of the Woodward Horn cats there. Recorded it over at Rust Belt out in Royal Oak, where I used to work out of. And it just the whole process was just beautiful, man. So
It
Mhm.
was.
And the music is incredible. Tell us about your experience because are you from Detroit?
I'm from Detroit. I grew up in Detroit.
Yeah. So tell us about your experience as a Detroit vocalist because in the world, that's an important thing. If I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Yes.
So and I'll just go in here. It's a very brief story. It's actually a hilarious story. I know Piranha can relate because we always talk about Detroit hustling.
don't we?
We always talk about Detroit hustling. So when I first moved to New York City, when you first move any place, like you need to work, blah blah blah. So I met this gentleman that was a songwriter. He wrote a lot of R&B songs, stuff that we all know work with the greats, blah blah blah. And he was like, "You're from Detroit," And I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you can sing. Now in my mind, I'm from Detroit. So when in my language, I'm from the 70s. So language, like if somebody say they could sing, in my mind, that means Aretha Franklin. This is what I'm thinking. So when he's like, you can sing. And I'm like, oh nah. I'm like, oh nah, I don't sing. So he's like, I bet you could sing. I was like, oh no. He's like, you grew up in church though. I was like, oh yeah. He's like, so you sang in church? I said, oh yeah, I was in the choir. Everybody's in the choir. He's like, oh yeah, no, I need you to help me with this music. So he, and he's writing like big people, so he's playing the stuff for me. Not playing, I mean, like, on the piano playing, he's writing, and then we work stuff out. And I don't read music, but I have an ear. So he's playing stuff and he's like, what do you hear? And I'm just like, you like sing something, I'm doing this now. He's like, you go hear this. So I'm just, you just like that, right? So he's like, you can sing. And I was just like, no, that's what we do in church. That's our culture. And I didn't realize that culturally, the way Detroiters grow up, maybe because we grew up in church, I don't know. But many times that musicality is something that's like super natural. But then for us, the people that can actually sing, that read music, that write music, that know what they're doing, it becomes a whole like another level. You understand what I'm saying? So and now I understand what he was saying. So I was helping him and I was making money singing in the nightclubs in Harlem. And I guess people were thinking I could sing, but to a Detroiter, that's pretty much like you can't sing. So I'm saying that to say that everywhere you go in Detroit, you see a Detroiter, they're gonna be on something that's huge and big. And if it's a vocalist from Detroit and they tell you that they sing, they sing for real.
Literally.
For real.
So I had to tell y'all that whole story because, I'm just going to throw it back to you because I want you to tell me about your experience growing up in Detroit as a person that's musical and a vocalist.
Yeah, well, one, people say, I grew up singing in my family. But I grew up in church. Grandfather's a pastor. So my first solo was like at 8, is when I realized, when they realized I had a voice on me. And so I began to, do solos in church and kind of grew into that. And of course, singing in churches, recording experience. I went to Straight Gate Church, so we were always singing in something. My first experience in the studio, well, one, my stepdad had a studio in the house. And so that was, kind of getting started with just being around, equipment and microphones. But then I had a chance to sing background for Vicki Winans.
That's huge.
Ford, and it was the Live in Detroit album. So here I am, 16, singing background, like in a real in the studio.
Give people that may not know that project, like that era, that time.
Oh, what year was this? Oh, I don't know what year this was, but this is Vicki Winans' Live in Detroit album, and she recorded it at Straight Gate Church, well, now Straight Gate International Church. And so the choir, we sung background for her. And so I had an opportunity to be in the studio with her. And this was part of the process. I've just, it kind of grew from there, so every artist that came in, we sung background for them.
That's so awesome.
So just kept it going. And I realized that, I would get the karaoke machine and just start, singing my own stuff, just singing, following after the greats, Shirley Murdoch's and the whole
Shirley Murdoch. You just threw that name out there, like
it's like I had to match my voice with, and I think that's what helped me to kind of develop, listening to those type of singers, just kind of develop and having my mom yell at me and say, you're singing too loud. The neighbors can hear you. And it just kind of grew from there. So
wait, were you in like a music group with like what's called DGC?
My cousins, we had Dorsey grandchildren. So my grandfather was a pastor, and of course, our parents sung, Seven Seas, that was their group. And then of course, when the kids grew up, it was the Dorsey grandchildren. So every pastor's anniversary, every program, we were the choir. So we just kind of got started singing like that. And from then, some of us went on to sing. My cousin Jessica Reedy, she went on to Sunday Best, and then I went into like the soul, jazz, R&B. So everybody kind of has their thing.
Their
That's cool.
niche.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you just now tell us a little bit more about this project?
Cosmic Dreamer. Like I said, it's more so kind of just happening to myself. I think during the pandemic, it just had everybody sitting down and just kind of thinking, okay, as a performer, all the shows are canceled. Will I be able to get back out there and perform? And I just really had to tap in, sit down and tap into myself and kind of just figure out and assess what it was that I wanted in life, assess my goals, because we had nothing but time, right, during the pandemic. And so it's just kind of thinking outside of the box, loving yourself for who you truly are, and breaking out of whatever box that people have put you in or that you've put yourself in, and kind of expanding your mind and coming into knowledge of, one, the creator and yourself, and how you're going to operate in the world once you have gained that understanding. And so the project Cosmic Dreamer, of course, is love and that human aspect, but then of course it's out of this world. So it's spacey, it's a journey.
It is.
And I think even with the single, it kind of takes you into that space of like you mentioned, some of my favorites, the Idris Muhammad and the Woden Irvine and the Sun Ra of it all. And so you kind of get that space and that vibe from there.
So you mentioned This Is My World. You're talking about we're like kindred spirits. This is my music you're talking about right now. So Sun Ra, because now everyone is the last decade or so, everyone's all like Afrofuture. And Sun Ra is I have to say because at his time, everyone thought he was like the purveyor, but we now know there's people before him. But I would say that he's the one who really brought forth this experimentation as this is what I do. These like 10-minute films that nobody understands, but it's then later, right? We have music videos, but they like this conceptually didn't exist at that time. Not in that way. It wasn't like, oh, we're doing music videos. People did them, but
he was ahead of his.
He was very ahead of his time.
100%. Yeah.
So can you talk about your the influence, what that influence has done like on you?
I think with Sun Ra and other artists, like your Earth, Wind, and Fires, looking at the artistic aspect, the visuals that you get. And then too, they were all seeking for something deeper, seeking, they had knowledge of self, you know what I'm saying? And so they were seekers of knowledge. And I think that really resonated with me, the visuals, the music, the sounds, the out of the box, avant-garde type of music. It wasn't your cookie cutter type of jazz, for example, Sun Ra. I mean, it was spacey. It was all kind of sounds and you were just in, it was a journey space. It was a journey, and you really were just in another space. And with that, there's you can kind of connect with a lot of things. I mean, I guess if you did drugs or something, it'd be a good high, but I'm not to do the drugs or anything like that, but it takes you in another space. And I think music, that's what music is. It takes us, it can change your mood. It can lift you up, when you're down. And there's so many emotional aspects that you can pull from music. And so to me, just pouring myself into that is an opportunity to kind of just share that with the world so that we all connect. Because I kind of think of it kind of like, like webs or whatever. It is what connects me to the world, but it's also my connection to the creator, because I wouldn't be able to express it without it. I just, not to get deep, but it's kind of like a divine. You
can get deep.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's just like a divine type of thing. And I think with songs like Don't Quit from my first project, that song just talks about, not letting the world pass you by and not sitting on the things that the creator has given you. And it's also my older self talking to my younger self, saying that, you'll be all right, Monique, like if you just stay in the race. And so there's a message in that from the creator to me, but then when I share it with the world, it's touched so many lives.
Mm-hmm.
It can be on, the worst of days, but someone to send a text and say, hey, I'm listening to your song right now. And so I know that it's divine, and it's not anything that I do on my own, but it's, it's special, it's special. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I'm looking at the right camera. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look
So,
here. Okay.
yeah, I'm wondering too, as a songwriter, what I hear, I hear the spirituality, and I hear the cosmicness, and I hear all of that, and I also hear I'm gonna say a modern version.
Uh-huh.
Like I feel like you have like made it contemporary. Like I feel like I feel like many times
Mhm.
when artists do have heavy influences like that, especially from that era,
Mhm.
it can have like a real heavy what do I mean? Like, like just on the art itself, where it's almost like a a redo.
Mhm.
But I feel like what you've done is maybe take those influences and then like, just create this thing that's like uniquely you.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little
I
bit?
think as an artist, I mean, some people I guess can get away with the duplication, of the repeat. And I think with all that I've learned in music and the artists that I love, um, and I guess with any situation, we always take different aspects of things. That's what makes us individuals. That's what makes us who we are. I think with the music that has influenced me, um, and of course, with my artistic aspect, it just allows me to kind of, I guess, be an individual and stand out, um, and then express that in a way that resonates with people. I think that my music is life music. And so, when you hear it, you're going to, get the real. You'll probably get, what I'm feeling. But also, you'll find reasons to hope, reasons to love, and to kind of lift. I want to lift people with the lyrics, but I want it to be good too. I want it to, vibe and ring in people's ears. I want them to be, listening to it in their cars. All of the above.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that you said that because for me, I think I always have this conversation about the 70s. And I think for me, the 70s is powerful because of all the musicality, the experimentation,
Yeah.
but also, too, we're coming out at that moment, coming out of the civil rights and Black Power movement.
Mhm.
And people were, able to breathe, I guess, and live and then experiment with their Blackness and their identity and their culture and their, putting this into their music, right? So it's a lot of messages in the music. And I think that's what I hear as well, that you're putting a lot of that, because to me, that's what soul music is. It's you're putting that soul
Yeah.
back into the ethers, right? And I hear that a lot from you. Can you speak about like that soul richness that we hear from you?
I think soul is just it's your experiences, it's the journey, not only you, but the people before you. Um, and of course, I always go back to Nina Simone saying about an artist's duty is to sing about what's going on in the world, and if you're not sharing about what's real. What's really going on. For example, I have a song called Step Up, and it's just about stepping up in your communities and stepping up in your life and being present and rolling your sleeves up. And so I think that that is something that we deal with on a daily in terms of our Blackness. We can't get away from that. But you can also, tune into yourself and kind of express that. So I think soul music is expression. It's not anything that you can't just duplicate that. You can't listen to some songs and just think soul. People you can try all day, but it's really something that's in you. It's innate.
And then there's the fun part, which is like this artsy stuff we're talking about, and then there's the not so fun part, at least not for me, and it's the like, you know getting the music like actually to people. So can you talk about like that process, right? Like how you're getting your music to people?
Yeah, the fun part and not so fun part. I think it's the work. You want people, I always tell people it's the whole world out here and I'm trying to see it. And so I'm the type of person, grassroots, getting out and, I was just at Easter Market on Saturday, passing out flyers and telling people, inviting them to the show.
I saw your poster, by the way, at the juice bar.
Oh, sweet. Yes. Okay. So it's working. Stapling up on poles and, just kind of, getting into the social media aspect and connecting with people because you have to give people a reason. My background is, like sales and marketing and PR. And so something I learned early on is what's the with them? What's in it for them? Well, you come to my show, it's going to be dope. No doubt. But you have that live aspect. And so I'm really improv in terms of, what I'm feeling and expressing that. And so, yeah, it's work. But I get joy in it because it's something that is mine, and that I'm building and I can kind of see it growing. And it's about setting goals for yourself and kind of seeing where you were, where I was last year or the year before and seeing where I am now. I think the show at the Cube or the DSO, Detroit Symphony Orchestra, is growth. It's growth for me. And I see, shows like the Progressive Underground and Chris Campbell giving me opportunities, giving me a platform for my music, giving me a platform. And so I just see growth. I see my work. I see the faith behind the work because, faith without works is dead. So I see the faith. And I see the grind, I see the hustle and I see the fruits of the labor. And so it's just something that I want to, keep growing at, I want my stages to get bigger and larger. And so I'm just going to stay in it.
Yeah. So let's talk about your live show.
Yeah.
Tell us about this live show.
Well, where do I start? I have a really great team behind me. And so, full band. It's going to be a 12-piece band. And so
what?
We're pulling out all the stops.
Wait.
Yes.
This is exciting.
Yes.
That means there's some strings if it's 12-piece. No strings?
Some strings aspect.
Okay. And then it's some horns.
There are definitely some horns.
Some percussion.
There is some percussion.
Okay. Because I'm thinking 12 pieces. This sounds exciting.
Yeah. Yep. Singers, background vocalists. So it's really going to be a whole
background vocalist. Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be a whole vibe.
I love it. It's going
to be a whole vibe.
Oh, I'm so excited.
The show's May 14th, so you've been like practicing. You're like in mode.
Yeah. We have been really getting it every week, a couple times a week, because we want to give the people something great. And the thing about Detroit and growing up in Detroit, you just can't do anything. Our people are going to let us know.
It's very
They're
true.
They're going to be honest. And so
that's what you were kind of alluding to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm coming and I'm really showing myself and putting myself out there. And I want the people to let me know, how they feel about it. But you have to come to know.
I agree. Tell us about the venue. Have you practiced yet in the venue to get
the yet in the Cube? Of course we'll do a sound check.
Yeah, that's gonna probably be just the name of it sounds perfect for what you're doing. Like
it's awesome. It's like it's the Cube. They have it in the Max Fisher Center.
Okay.
But of course it's the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. So the venue is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and I've been to a few shows there. I know that Phoenix does her poetry there. Miss Collins just did a show there that was pretty dope. She's over in India now. So it's a great venue, a lot of space, and I'm trying to pack it out.
It will be. I'm really excited for it. This is gonna be a great summer for music, and
it is.
So for the fact that you get a chance to kind of kick it off and share some energy with the new project. So this show is gonna be, like you said, you introducing the project. So what are you most excited about for people?
I'm most excited about people hearing the new music.
Okay.
Such as Life. Actually, it just had its 4th birthday.
Wow.
So that came out in 2018, actually. And so it was time for something new. And this just gives me an opportunity to, share what it is that I am working on. And I call it, this musical gumbo, because it's just so many aspects of what I'm working on. And I get to, share that. So, yeah.
Yeah, can you let's talk about the Such Is Life project just for people who,
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to experience it.
Such in life is kind of the ups and downs and in betweens of life. Talk about love, um, heartache, loss, and just learning how to be triumphant and overcoming those things. And so it was my baby. I was singing so much on the circuit and going to so many shows, and people were asking, well, do you have a CD out? Do you have music out? And I felt like, I needed to put out a project to say, like I'm official. Like I'm professional, I'm official. Let me go ahead and put something out and share with the people. And so this was that project that I put out, and I worked with a great set of musicians and people like Maestro from Silent Ryan Studios produced some of the songs, and then of course I wrote all of the songs. And so it was also just a way to share, like, I'm a writer too. I'm not just a vocalist, but I'm a writer, and I think it's good.
Yeah. Tell us about being a writer, because that's a whole thing.
It is. And it's a lot of great opportunity in writing, But I think for me, it was just more so, I had this thing in the Arts Hub, and I, always did like improv shows. We did open mics every week. And so I think loving the poetry, the spoken word, and then, of course, singing, it just got me into doing my own lyrics. And I think as a singer anyway, you're always humming something, like, just periodically bursting into song. And so, just writing. And I think when you're going through things, journaling is good to kind of help you to kind of clear some things out, clear the air, clear the space with yourself. And so songwriting is what did it for me.
And
I wanted to have my own catalog too. I wanted to have
okay,
own music. And just for me, I think coming out, it's great to work with people and to collaborate. At the same time, I wanted to say, like, I wrote this music. I said, like, this is my music. I wrote it.
Yeah,
God
your
gave it to
ideas.
me. And so to express those ideas. And I think now with this new project and working with a different set of musicians, working with Pirahnahead, we're really collabing and making something great for the people. So this is
how can you not with Pirahnahead?
Exactly. I mean, he's awesome. So
but what I like about it is you're not just like songwriting. Like when you listen to your music, you're producing your music too, because you're structuring it in such, it's like we said before the show, is so layered. You know what I mean? So you're not just like writing, right? You're kind of like going into another dimension, like connecting with the production, you know what I mean? And then like really, really, I think taking full advantage of the production, right?
Definitely.
So that's so dope.
Yeah, Piranha sent me some music or something he was working on, and I think I don't know if I was at church or somewhere, but I was listening to the music and just kind of got to writing. And it just kind of came out, you know what I mean? It just kind of flowed out. And sometimes as when I'm writing, I may, record it, have a recorder. I may have, some composition notebooks. It's kind of like Doug from the 5 Heartbeats when he's like writing all these pieces of paper and they're like bought up and trying to put a song together. But it just really came together.
That's
so,
dope.
So, Pirahna,
What up, though?
Tell us about being in the studio with this project.
It's very interesting, I'll say, because when she gets behind, there's been moments where I've been, listening to her do a vocal take, and it's like you damn near go to tears or something, because it's a powerful moment and she's letting the real stuff out. She ain't thinking about the riffs or anything like that, but it's natural, So, it's really interesting with her vocally. With the cats who we, chose to put on the record and certain things that we're doing with it, it's just like, yeah, okay, we're getting there. So then, like, you'll be listening to something and then a bunch of chimes and stuff will be happening. Like there's this one song that she came in. In fact, when she first came to the studio, she started singing the hook for it, called "Don't Make Me Wonder." And it, then loved it or whatever. And then me, her, and was it Tony Gordon?
Yeah, Tony Gordon.
It came over, and Tony wrote a lot of stuff with Brandon Williams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Leave Love Be and all those
Mhm.
stuff with Alex Isley and all of that. So
I love Alex
Yeah.
Isley.
Me too,
Yeah.
of course.
so I mean, and Tony's a G. I mean, he's
Mhm.
got a real great
Yeah,
sound.
Tony's
But one of the things that I when he was writing it, it's just like I started doing all this really crazy synth stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's like let's just add all of this noise. Let's add this and add that. And the other day when we were working through that at rehearsal, like one of the keyboardists was like, man, that's like, it make me high just listening.
Oh,
It'll
wow.
take you into this realm.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is soothing, your music is very healing and very soothing. I like to play it before I go to sleep.
Oh,
So it's good like music to like settle you, or like I like to play it before I get in the bathtub. And
see, she be dreaming cosmic.
she dreams cosmic. Yeah. And I think we need more of this music. We need more of this music. There's so much room to have more of this kind of music, in the world. So let's go back. Let's talk about because Pirahnahead had mentioned some of your musical influences, and you mentioned a few of your vocal influences. But tell us about like what it's like to have that voice and work on that voice, like for yourself. What is that like?
Well, it's always funny because, I would have band rehearsal, and sometimes, depending on where I was having band rehearsal, I would say, bring your instruments. Of course, I'm bringing my instrument. So with my voice, I really tried to hone my craft, because I know even, during the pandemic when shows were canceled, I had to make sure that I wasn't in a rut of not, using my instrument, use my voice. And so that's when I, after weeks of, okay, like things are really closed down. Like, yeah, everything's, all the concerts are canceled, after getting out of that funk, like, oh my goodness, I really just had to keep at it. And so it's something that I love doing. And I don't think that it's happenstance. I know that it's a gift from the Creator. And so because of that, I have this passion to share it. You know what I mean? So just getting out there and spreading the message of love and light is what I say through the music.
And do you okay, I'm gonna pivot here.
Yes.
So you guys releasing the music on Bandcamp, right? You released it on Bandcamp, and
Yeah.
then but there's music on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then what's you guys' vision for like your music? And I'm asking that because, nowadays, I'm saying the last couple years since people been doing the NFTs and things, the conversation is around ownership and like, selling your music and trying to make that money as an artist versus like not making money through the streams.
Yeah.
Right. So what is that like for you, and you could jump into Pirahnahead if you want to speak on that, like that aspect of commerce when it comes to your music and the choices that you guys are making around where your music's going to be and how people can access your music.
Well, in terms of streaming, you mentioned,
Yeah.
places like Spotify and those platforms. I remember Pharrell's Happy and talked about how it had so many millions and millions of plays, but he made like pennies, on the dollar. And so I think with artists like myself and being independent, a lot of artists are going independent, more so than I see than, trying to get the big record deals. And so places like Bandcamp give you an opportunity to get your money. And it works out better. You know what I mean? Sometimes they have the Fridays where you're getting 100% of your money versus a percentage. And then too, also getting out and selling the physical music. If you have the vinyl, get out and sell the vinyl. If you got the CDs, and I remember Master P getting out and selling CDs, selling tapes. and CDs out of his vehicle. And so that's kind of, I go to my shows and I'm selling my merch. After I get done singing, if I'm doing a festival, I'm walking through the crowds because that's the bread and the butter. You get, you're performing, but the merch, is where it helps you to kind of recoup the costs. Shows cost a lot to put on. And then too, things like a 12-piece band, everybody has to, be paid. And I'm an artist advocate. So I believe in, taking care of the artist and, showing that respect to the craft because, I do it as well. And so it's just trying to make sure that everybody, is taken care of. But I think sites like Bandcamp are useful and beneficial to the artist that's really out there trying to, get that. It's a better, return.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Bandcamp. I mean, you got to understand, I came from the world of house music where, the digital downloads thing came after vinyl, which, you kind of had to adapt in doing that. A lot of the work that, I did before with DJ Minx and Vinity and all of them, that, it's just like, okay, now we got to go from selling this record that is at that time like what, $10, I mean, like buying a 12-inch like $10 or something, go from that to the same record being downloaded for $1 and something. It hurt.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. To be real about it. But also, in any situation you have to adapt. Spotify and things of that nature, all of this stuff came out of everybody wanting things for free.
Yeah.
And it came out of people wanting, from people, I guess I'll say generation after generation, wanting to sample rather than play it.
Okay.
So a lot of, even though I love hip hop, even though I love house music, even though I love all of what it is, my man Jay, our man Jay, God rest him. A lot of what that is what we're kind of paying for, but we're kind of dealing with the karmic aspect of, our need to be able to get the freshest loop and go dig in the crates just so we can sample somebody, so we're dealing with the karmic aspect of that, but yet we have to either evolve or evaporate. So
you said evolve or evaporate.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah. And
That's
so
real.
Yeah, it is.
it's interesting. You said you also have your merch. So tell us about what all merch do you have for folks?
Right now I have my CDs. I'm working on vinyl, and so Cosmic Dreamer, that's going to be really dope. The artwork's done. That's going to be a dope vinyl. And then of course shirts, and whatever else I can, find to sell, sandwiches, candy bars, M&Ms, whatever, I'm saying, to make up and cover costs. And
I'm gonna interject, and I'm gonna tell you something that she don't think she even let you know. Okay. She's a harpist.
Oh,
wow.
Why
Wait
you
a
hiding
minute.
that? Like
She
Dorothy
studied with
Ashby?
Pat Terry Ross
like
at Cass Tech.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Wait,
she's
so
my
you're-
favorite. I love her.
so wait, are you currently play harp, or you were gonna see some of this or hear some of
You're
this?
not gonna see this in this show,
Mm-hmm.
but you will see it
Soon come, as they
eventually.
say in the
Yes.
Caribbean. Okay.
Yeah,
That's so
you will.
dope.
Yeah, that was high school, and then I actually during the pandemic went to Wayne State. I wanted to study back under her, so I called her one day and was like, Miss Ross, I'm a little rusty. I want to, get back into the swing of and incorporate it in my shows. And she was like, well, you could come over to Wayne State. And so I
so cool.
came over to Wayne State as a student so I could study back under her. And then, got a new harp and, got to practicing.
You got a new harp.
Yeah.
You saw Brittany, how she just rolled off her tongue. I got a new harp.
I'm like,
I got.
I was renting one, and then it got, damaged.
That's not the part we're talking about. You're like, yeah, I just bought a new harp.
They're expensive. They're
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah,
but,
yeah. She's a G.
it's-
That's like saying you bought a pair of buffs in Detroit. Like,
You know what? Now that you think about it, yeah, I guess I could have got some buffs, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like a harp or some buffs. Or some buffs. But yeah, I went with
That's
the
a
harp.
Detroit decision,
Right,
there.
right. That's a pimp decision. Yeah.
All right, for real.
Right.
That's a straight up pimp decision. Like, you know, am I trying to be pretty or am I trying to be, you know, let me
Right.
see
Am I
that.
trying to be artsy? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Look like an artist or be artsy.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
So-
tell us about this harp now. You got us intrigued.
Yes. It's a beautiful maple harp. I started off. Yeah, Lionel Healy. So actually during the, everything was shut down in the world and I ordered it and they had to, ship it from Italy and it just took a long time because all the shipping was like closed down because of the pandemic.
Notice how she said I had to ship it from
They
Italy.
had to ship it from
Shit,
Italy.
That's a G. That's a
And,
G. That's a G.
I had to wait for it, you know.
You know, I
it
just had to
finally
get it from
came
Italy.
in over the water, and like you couldn't like stop at restaurants or anything like that. But when it finally came in, like after 3 months, I drove there and just made sure, I used the bathroom, get my gas, this and that or whatever, and picked it up. They had it ready for me and I drove it back. And that was that. I had this whole little unveiling. And,
That's
it was
cool.
awesome. Yeah. And definitely shout out to the community because when my harp that I had before that had got damaged and I was renting it and, leg kind of tilted and the neck broke. And so, I had fundraiser concerts and, friends and family and fans, kind of helped and chipped in. So that I could make that happen and
That's so
replace
fire.
it. And so I'm very grateful to everybody for just loving and supporting me and supporting the music and supporting, the ideas that I have to, share, share the music. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you like resonate with pop music? Does any pop music kind of resonate with you? Or because I guess I'm asking because I do hear like maybe it's that connecting piece, how like pop can kind of connect to a lot of different people. Like I feel like not that your music's pop. I'm just saying I hear this kind of like thing that's like that would make people feel, sort of familiar with it.
I think I cross genres. You know what I'm saying? So I think in one song you'll hear gospel, you'll hear some, some jazz aspect. But I think that I can kind of go in between all of the genres. And so you may hear that, and one person may hear, like some blues or some gospel tones. I kind of go through all of those, and I think that's one of the cool things about my music is that you're gonna find something that you can identify with, whether it's pop, whether it's jazz. I just started working on this new song called Flow Like a River. And so that has, some gospel, church, feeling as well. And so the thing most of all is I want you to feel good. So whatever you hear from it, definitely I want you to feel good and connect with it. So yeah.
Yeah. And okay, before you go, we have to do a round of, we always do this here, talking about our artists and things like that.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so Stevie Wonder, what's your favorite Stevie Wonder album? It has to be the criteria though. It can't be like just one song. It has to be like a whole
Songs.
album. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it has to be a project.
Songs in the Key.
Okay, yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, I love that one, but I also love Superwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Too. I don't know if that's on there. Is that on there?
No, that's not.
He's
No,
like
that's
my
not on
Rolodex.
there.
He's my Rolodex.
Yeah, he's the Rolodex.
And then too, Stevie and I were born in the same city. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And transplant of Detroit.
You're
definitely.
from Saginaw.
I was born in Saginaw.
Okay, that's what's up.
So I would say Saginaw birthed me, Detroit raised me.
Okay, okay.
Just came here and like preschool.
Now, have you ever covered any Stevie, or do you do any cover?
I have done All I Do.
Okay.
And let me see. Have I done any others? Oh, Ez. I sung that at
Okay.
wedding before.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that
Stevie
was-
songs are
that
layered
was
too.
dope.
Now that I think about
Stevie
Yeah.
it.
is definitely
Man.
layered.
Stevie is
But like
dope.
to the
Yeah.
like in context of your music,
Yeah.
The
like
day I met Stevie, I quit smoking.
Yes,
I
great
swear.
story. Great story.
Yeah, I didn't want him to smell me, because he got
The senses
Mhm.
are
his
heightened.
senses heightened. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And one's born every minute. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like the you know what I mean? He couldn't, you know what I mean? I didn't want to, so I was trying to get rid of that as I walked into the Alfred Taubman Center.
Mm.
Mhm.
Because he seen him come, just like, oh man, the day of his street name.
His dedication.
And he
yeah.
was the coolest brother I had ever seen
Mm.
in my life.
He was
But,
Detroit cool.
oh my God,
Mm.
this brother's cool.
Yeah.
And really down to earth, but he, he resonates with us.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Oh,
mhm.
definitely.
I just think about All I Do, and it's like all his songs start off one way and completely end a different way.
Oh,
It's like,
definitely.
oh my God, right?
Definitely.
That
Mhm.
song just
I
Yeah.
think the backgrounds in that song, I can't remember who else is in there. I think it's Roberta Flack,
Yeah.
ooh.
the OJs, and Michael
Damn.
Jackson. Think it,
I was
baby.
gonna say Dion.
Mhm.
I did
No.
not
I
know
think
that.
Dionne Warwick or Roberta Flack. One of them.
Okay.
Damn.
I
That
have
is
to- I have to
crazy.
Google it, but that's that's who's the background. So that shows you
Mhm.
the level of what a session was back in the
Mm.
day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just hey,
Yeah, come through.
Let's get these backgrounds out right
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Damn.
You
That was
know?
just like Marvin Gaye's. Who's in the background of that? McFarlane. Who's the car dealer?
I know. I think I know
Mel
what you're talking
Farr.
about.
Mel Farr.
Oh,
Mel
yeah.
Farr in
And the
what's
Detroit
going
Lions.
on?
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's
them in the
background.
What's going on?
That's
Mhm.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah, just think.
it's crazy,
Motown back then.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
No, that's I'll definitely be trying to get on Motown if I was
Mm-hmm.
back
Yeah.
then.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Or maybe not, because
Yeah.
Pirahna would be Pirahna would be protecting you from Barry Gordy stealing your royalties and your your writers. Wait, I'm gonna tell y'all something.
Hey.
But Pirahna probably knows this. You might know it too. When when the Jacksons, the reason they left Motown was because they had, grown up there. That was where they began. And they were like starting to get a little older. And they were like, I got some ideas, we've got some musical ideas, we write. And Barry Gordy was like, nah, people don't write here. We have writers and we have producers. You just sing, you just smile and sing. And they pushed and pushed. And the daddy was like, they had moved to LA at this time.
Yeah.
So the daddy was like, if you don't do this, we're going to leave. So that's how they initially ended up leaving. And then when they left, the daddy was, Barry Gordy was like, well, I own the name, the Jackson 5. And they were like, well, that's fine. We'll change it to the Jacksons. And then they threw Randy up in there. So, it says something. We had that conversation about writing before, and that whole machine, if you know anything about Motown, I love them. But majority of those people are broke and broken because they didn't know the business the way access that we have now.
That's another thing too, Piper, is that as an artist, so many that we see are just singing, or puppet aspect versus writing your music and having some ownership. And so that was another thing. It was like, I want some ownership of something. I don't want to just sing. I want to have something. So that that's important.
Yeah, nobody can take that away from you.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the biggest advocate I've ever seen who was about the ownership was Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I have my own opinions about his leaving us, but I still believe he was like the biggest advocate for one to understand what the business acumen was. I mean, I read a story that an artist was, fanning out over it, and all of this, and he was like, yeah, I like your work too, and and then he asked the simplest of questions: do you own your masters? And they were like, nah, dog, the label on that. And he was like, well, yeah, okay, we on two different levels of conversation. Good meeting you, peace, type of thing.
Yeah,
because you have to be able to speak and deal with people who are on your level of thinking when it comes down to that. So
and that's in any aspect of life.
Brother Barry was down of his time, most definitely.
Yeah.
But he also again evolve or evaporate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I
and
mean?
learn
Mhm.
what it is
Learn,
that you want
see
to be
what-
in.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wanna, learn the business.
Okay, Shaka Khan. Favorite project. It could be Rufus or Shaka Khan.
Oh, I love Shaka Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Rufus, let me see. What did I do with hers? Tell me something good.
Mm-hmm.
Written by Stevie.
I was
That's
just
where
about to say
Mm.
that song is
You can
ironically
hear-
layered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
You can totally hear
That's
Stevie in
Dang, that's
that.
crazy.
What else? My Funny Valentine. Well, she sings that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
There's another one. Oh, Ain't Nobody.
Yes.
Done that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Shaka Khan. She
Mhm,
has a
mhm.
big. She's one of those singers that you study.
Yes.
With the big voice, and you just learn. Yeah, and she's beautiful.
Yes,
Mhm.
And
yes,
her
yes.
journey is beautiful too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
Little people with big voices. I love 'em.
yeah.
Yeah. My jam of hers is Stay.
Oh yeah.
No one ever remembers Stay
That's a good
because I
one.
like the way it goes different places. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Let's do well, you mentioned her, but Nina Simone.
Oh, I love Nina Simone. Just in Time, I think would be my favorite. But I think a lot of artists who they sung each other's music,
Mhm.
or those standards their way.
Mhm.
So of course, Feeling Good, Just in Time, Ain't Got No.
Mhm.
What is it? Birmingham. No.
Oh, Mississippi Goddamn.
Mississippi Goddamn.
Mhm.
What else? I've done a whole Nina Simone show.
The
so
Four
good.
Women.
The Four Women.
Mhm.
Sinner Man.
Mhm. I
no.
put a spell on you.
Put a spell on you. I've done that one. I've done that one. I've done several of her songs.
She meant that. She
Yeah,
meant that.
definitely.
You
I
better.
love the Screaming Jay Hawkins version.
Yeah, because her tone, you know what I mean? Her tone, she has that heavy voice, that contralto voice. So yeah,
Mhm.
She embraces what she's talking about. Like she sends you on a
Yeah.
journey because of that. Like
yeah,
you know what I
and just
mean?
the individual, she
Mhm.
didn't. She wasn't boxed in. She refused to be, even if it cost her some things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you learned individuality.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you guys saw Summer Soul, but all the artists, Questlove just won an Oscar for that. What?
You haven't seen that?
You have to see Summer
What's
Soul.
wrong with
It's
y'all?
like all
Sorry.
the artists in the 70s in Harlem. Was it Harlem?
It was Harlem.
It was Harlem. They had like a concert series.
Yeah. That movie was
You
amazing.
have to check.
That's
it
the
out.
one.
I definitely
Questlove won the
Yeah,
film for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it like I like that.
I mean the
one.
Oscars. Won an Oscar for
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I like that the Oscar.
Mhm.
I like that the Summer Soul, but my favorite is
Watch
Oh,
Stacks.
Watch
I
Stacks.
knew you was gonna say Watch
Watch Stacks.
Stacks.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Watch
you've not seen Watch
Stacks.
Stacks? Movie
That's your
night?
homework.
That's your homework.
That's your homework.
Watch
We gotta have a movie night.
Right.
I mean,
Watch
Yeah.
Stacks.
because Watch Stacks is the blackest.
Y'all gotta
It's
go
the
into
best.
it a little bit, just a little bit.
Huh?
Go into it just a little.
Go
bit.
I'll
ahead.
put it this way: it is the blackest film on earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I
It
say
is
that,
black.
Yeah.
it shows us the way we
were.
need to be.
Yeah. The way we need
the
to
way
be.
we were,
The
and the
way we
need-
were.
And everybody just were, themselves.
Right.
They weren't trying to be
Mhm.
anybody else or
It was
anything
Now
else.
one-
besides.
now-
Pure blackness.
It
was
wasn't
just black,
Al straight
you know,
hair
just,
nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
big
Me?
afros.
It was-
you know what I mean?
It was Jesse Jackson did his
When he was
I Am
black.
Somebody- when he was
Dashy.
black.
Oh
He
my
was
God.
black.
He's still black, but you know what I
He's
mean.
still
He-
black.
I got it.
You know what I mean? But when he back then, like
Still black.
it was
When he was a soul brother.
like
Yeah.
during the Black National Anthem, you see how many people was it? 300,000?
Something like that.
Something like that. 300,000
That's crazy.
of us up there, and at the end of it, it was like a balloon release of all red, black, and green balloons.
Oh my
over-
God.
like that. It was like, yeah, so, come on.
All right, what year time frame? is this?
1970,
Of course.
1972.
So is that considered black
Something like that. I have to
exploitation?
look it up. No, not at
No,
all.
no.
The opposite. It's the
Okay.
opposite of black
Yeah.
exploitation.
All right, I got
Yet Melvin Van Peebles was doing the security.
He was
He
doing
like, he was working the security.
Okay, I'm with
you
y'all.
know what I'm saying? So it was,
Yeah.
Okay,
you know,
I'm gonna watch it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
That's-
gotta
that's
watch
gonna
it.
be good.
You
Watch
gotta watch
Stacks.
it. Watch
Yeah.
Stacks.
Watch
WATT. And Don Davis
Yeah.
had something to do with it.
I think
because
he did-
Was
didn't he-
working with Stacks at the time.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think he
Stacks,
was a
okay.
producer
Yeah, he was a
of the
producer
event.
that.
Yeah.
And he owned
Don Davis of
United.
United
I wonder if
Sound.
Deja's seen
Right.
that.
Maybe. Our
Yeah.
other co-host is a Gen Z. She loves
She's amazing. Like
she loves
knows.
music too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Don Davis owned United Sound and also First Independence National Bank.
Mhm.
So at that time, that's Black Power.
Yeah.
It's just big. That
Black
was just
Black
amazing.
finance is Black Power. Black,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Blackness.
So I'll just do just a couple more and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go to musicians. Yusef Lateef.
Love Yusuf Lateef.
Do you know his catalog or
I can't pull out any of his albums.
the Detroit album?
I can't pull out any.
Really?
See,
Woodward
that's
Avenue
what
and all
you
that.
And I love him. Yeah.
My favorite is Eastern Sounds. Love Theme from Spartacus.
Okay.
My favorite
Yeah, I
song
love
of all
that
time.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's give you another one. Okay, wait. Do you know Mongo Santa Maria?
No.
Okay, that's
can't
your
think of any
homework.
songs,
You need
though.
him.
I can't think of any songs.
Yeah. He's
But
amazing.
I have heard.
Yeah. Okay. Another musician. Okay, let me let you give me one. Somebody you love.
Oh, Weldon Irvine.
I don't know any of his
Young, Gifted, and
catalog.
Black?
Yeah, I mean I know that, but I
Right.
don't know his catalog enough to know an album.
Sunrise.
Morning Sunrise.
Oh.
Oh, now that's your homework.
Okay, that's my
Jasmine.
homework.
That's a really good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roy Ayers.
Yeah.
Oh, Everybody loves Roy Ayers.
I like In Your Mind Part 2.
Oh,
Man,
my
that's
gosh.
just crazy.
Man.
He was supposed to come to Willis show bar right before COVID hit.
Oh, he was. He
Yeah.
That
was.
would have been packed out.
Yeah.
I met Mr. Ayers one time, and I think he looked at me kind of miffed, like weird, because I at that time I was really just getting into arranging, and I was a fan of the big bands, and I'm like, man, it would be bad as hell if we got together and did a tribute to Lionel Hampton, and he looked at me like, you know what I mean? Because everybody else was like, oh my God, everybody loved the Sunshine and whatever, but like, because that's his, you know what I mean? That lineage, you know what I'm saying? And and that is hell, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Virgo Red.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And any women musicians that you love? It could be historical or current.
Musician? Ooh, Dorothy Ashby.
Yes.
Oh my
I was
God.
Coltrane.
Our favorite over
With
here.
the-
Two of our
love.
favorites.
Yeah.
Love Dorothy.
Yeah, freaking
What?
love.
Afro Harp?
Yeah,
That
I was
is
just gonna
a
see.
repeat. You know they sell that for like $150, $200 vinyl.
I'm
They
still looking
should,
for it.
as they
Wherever
should.
I go into,
As they
that's the first thing
should.
I ask for. Can never find it.
I know.
The repress. But
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
original was like $560 something.
yeah,
my
but maybe
God.
someone to give that to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can run across
Mhm.
it. I did. I was doing research on her, and I was trying to find her music, trying to find sheet music,
Mhm.
so that I can, play, because I was just kind of trying to, transcribe and, get the notes by listening, and there was no sheet music, there was no sheet music for her, but yeah.
So that's a thing. Maybe you can do that and put it out as your merch.
That'd be dope.
And
Oh,
you
yeah.
could
And she was really good friends too with my harp teacher,
mm.
Patricia Terry Ross. So
I could
They
see
had a
I
great
could see
relationship.
you and Pirahna rearranging some of her sheet music a little bit,
Oh,
rearranging
yeah.
and doing like a special arrangement for you,
Definitely.
and then you could put that out as you could
Yeah,
sell
I'ma
them as
need
your
that.
merch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think
Mhm.
there's so many things that I don't think I've spoken of. I mean, I know that now it's beginning to be a conversation. Like I just just ran into some information about the Black orchestral, kind of like a
Like society.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Orchestration Society
That's
or something
good.
of that nature. And you know what I mean? And but there also are so many Black harpists
Mm-hmm.
that are not spoken of.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
That's
so
very
many
true.
things, you know what I'm saying? So that's that lineage,
Mm-hmm.
and some, but I don't know how many are male.
I didn't know any.
I know Maurice
Well, I'm
Brown.
saying one day I just came home from school in the 8th grade, and there was a harp in the living room.
Mm.
And I asked my mom, like, well, what the heck is this? And she was like, I saw a lady play today, and you're gonna play. And I was like, what? And I started taking lessons, and just so happened, at Cass, I joined the choir because I'm a singer, and a teacher came in there and was taking attendance and asked, on the little card, you have to give your name, how long you've been singing, do you play an instrument?
Mhm.
And I wrote, harp on there, just not thinking I'm in class, talking, waiting her to take attendance. And then she calls my name, Monique. She was like, oh, Monique. And I was like, yeah, come here. And I walked to her and I'm like, yeah, what did I do? And she was like, it says here you play the harp. I'm going to call your mom and tell her I'm going to take you out of choir and put you on harp. And I was like, what? Mad, so mad. And she was like, follow me. And took me, and it was a room full of harps. So she was
a room full
of harps.
We got to get
they
Pat
had
on this show.
a harp program, and so that's came.
Well, they have a harp program.
Yeah, it was like only 2 in the country. That was one of them.
Wow, that's why Detroit is.
Yeah, she was the first Black harpist that I met, in real life. And then as I, got older, then I, started to search like who's playing this, you know what I mean? And that's when I came upon, Dorothy Ashby and Alice Coltrane, and they, went to Cass. They, they're from Detroit, and so yeah. There are a lot of
that's a strong
friends
lineage.
now. They've won Grammys. They're still playing. Barbara, I can't think of her last name, but yeah.
There's Brandy Younger. I love her music.
Now Aya Simone.
Yeah, Aya Simone is doing her thing. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Pat Terry is like,
and she's played on everybody's album.
And she's played on
everybody's album. Who you love?
I mean, for real, everybody. Like my Sharia Moore.
Oh yeah.
All the stuff that's on Motown, like her, all of that. Like she
has great stories.
The harpist, and like it's one of the greatest people in general. I mean, I love her to pieces.
Yeah.
I really, just like I said, I'm going to introduce you guys.
Yeah.
She needs to be on this show. Like, you definitely need to have her as a guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of her historic, aspect. But she is. I think she said to me one time her grandmother gave her a phrase.
Oh yeah.
Which I still to this day listen to on loop in my head, as well as it could be something biblical. Do honor to your gifts. And as the Bible says, your gifts will make room for you. So,
but if you honor your gift, you're going to work on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow. Well, I'm like, you've given us so much of your life's energy. I want people to, go back and listen to your music and check out, if you look in the description below, we have all of your links, but just for those who are maybe just tuning in, I want to, just reiterate like where everyone can find you, where they can get your music, and what's going to be happening where they can see you.
Well, be sure to get your ticket, dso.org/Cube, Saturday, May 14th at 8 p.m. Meet me at the Cube. It's really going down. It's going up. We're elevating. We're vibrating higher. So you want to be there and you don't want to miss that. But definitely check me out on MoniqueEllaRose.bandcamp.com. And then you'll see some other shows that are coming up after that. So we have a full schedule already. I'm so very grateful. God is good. So we're into like August and the calls are coming in. But yeah, connect. And when you listen to the music, let me know which one resonated with you and which one you love. I definitely say, people are really going through, I just had a friend whose friend committed suicide recently. And, Winona Judge just passed. And
Winona Judge just passed?
Yes. She just passed
the other day.
But, and they don't know why, but the issue is with depression. she had issues of depression, a battle with depression. And I say that to say to don't quit, to don't give up, that life is worth living. And definitely listen to my song, Don't Quit, because that is a song that I listen to often. And so just stay in the race. Somebody has something that you need. And so if you just, cut yourself out of the game, then everybody's missing out. So just stay in the game, but definitely check out the music. I want to know what you think about it. And thank you so much, Piper, for having me on the show. This is a great platform. And I've been watching you a while because, I had a magazine a couple years ago when you're at the 5E Gallery. And I remember coming there like, hey, can I cover a story? It was still a day. Hey, can I cover a story? And you're like, yeah, take photos, do what you need to do.
I never say no to publicity.
Yeah. So it was awesome. And so I've been following you since then.
We have to do some stuff together.
Definitely.
I'm glad you came on. It's quite an honor. I love the music. I'm going to continue sharing it. Everyone I've shared it with has been really grateful and blessed. Like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Everybody go see the show. Go out and see the show, because live music with a 12-piece band is something different.
And you're going to love this band too.
Yeah.
You're going to love it all. It's, a lot of work went into this, and you'll be able to see that.
Yeah. And so, give one more time your socials, just for
Instagram, Monique Ella Rose. Facebook, Monique Ella Rose Music.
Yeah. And your website,
MoniqueEllaRose.com.
Yeah, I like how you keep it simple.
Yeah, it's just
Monique Ella Rose. All the way around.
Heck of a name too, ain't it?
Beautiful name.
It has a ring to it, but those are my grandmothers. So Ella and Rose, and my mom just kind of wanted to honor them.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful, and that's a heavy name. It really is, because I carry those women, those strong Black women, everywhere that I go. And so they may not be here in the physical realm, but they're on every stage that I'm on. You know what I mean? They're in every word that I write and that I sing. So
that's so beautiful.
It's beautiful. I'm honored to honor them.
Yeah. Ashe. And you see how beautiful. Oh my God, we gotta get you back on here. And actually, we gotta get in your space. We gotta do we're gonna have to. We have a portable setup, so we have to go do something with the portable setup. And do some recording and get that out there. Yeah, but this has been a really fruitful, amazing show. We're gonna get Pirahnahead back in here. You also got to do the Detroit is Different podcast too.
I came in here and we did that, and we were supposed to continue it. Hey, I think I might have been in a different space at that time. You know what I mean? Not like a different space or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I just was. Was I angry at somebody? I can't even remember what.
You probably were.
I probably was, but you know how I get.
Yeah. Pirahnahead is East Side.
Exactly. All day. Every day. And I can do it for life.
Hey, that's what's up. Yeah. So check out the music. Keep listening to the podcast. Thanks for everyone that's tuning in. We're live now, but it'll be recorded. It'll be on all the streaming platforms. And like, share, and subscribe. And just keep listening to Piper Carter Podcast. It's Piper Carter Podcast on all your socials. And definitely continue supporting the Detroit is Different podcast network, because there are many great shows on here that are bringing you quality information and entertainment. And so we really appreciate you, the listener, and we will see you next week. Peace.